The conference room on the 43rd floor of Hargrove and Associates smelled like expensive coffee and quiet desperation. $12 billion sat on the table in the form of a government contract to redesign the Callaway River Bridge, a structure that 3 separate engineering firms had already declared structurally impossible to modernize without a full demolition. Marcus Hargrove, senior partner and the kind of man who wore his ego like a tailored suit, stood at the head of the table addressing his team of 6 senior architects. He had not yet noticed the young woman sitting at the far corner, notepad open, pencil moving. "We present in 72 hours, Marcus said, slapping the blueprint against the projection screen. "And right now we have nothing. The load-bearing recalculations keep failing because the original 1940s steel grid is incompatible with modern tension distribution." "Anyone who tells me otherwise is wasting my time." No one spoke. The young woman in the corner kept drawing. Her name was Zara Mensah. 26 years old, daughter of a Ghanaian civil engineer raised between Accra and Atlanta, and currently employed by Hargrove and Associates as a front desk receptionist, a position she had taken 3 months ago because it paid the bills while she finished her independent research. She had no business being in this meeting. She had slipped in quietly to deliver a folder to James Whitfield, the one architect in the room who had ever said good morning to her without looking through her. Marcus noticed her when she didn't leave. "Can I help you?" "Yeah," he said, not kindly. "I'm just waiting for Mr. Whitfield to review those cost projections," she said. Marcus looked at her notepad. Then he looked at his team. Then he laughed, not a warm laugh, the other kind. "What is that? Are you sketching the bridge?" A few heads turned. "She's been doodling this whole time," Marcus said, loud enough to perform it. "The receptionist has solved the billion-dollar problem with a number 2 pencil. Should we cancel the team of engineers and just check the front desk?" Laughter moved around the table like a wave, nervous and obedient. Zara did not close the notepad. James Whitfield, to his credit, stopped laughing first. He was watching her pencil. He had a doctorate from MIT and 20 years in structural engineering, and something about the geometry taking shape on that page made him go very still. "Zara," he said carefully. "What is that?" "It's a reconfigured load path," she said. "The problem with every proposal so far is that the team keeps trying to replace the 1940s grid. You can't. The original steel has stress memory. It's been bearing load for 80 years in one direction. You fight it, it fails. But if you introduce a secondary titanium lattice here," she turned the notepad, "running diagonally against the original grid's bias, you're not replacing the load path. You're creating a conversation between the 2 systems. The old steel keeps doing what it's always done. The new lattice redistributes the modern tension load around it." The room was quiet. Not politely quiet, not awkwardly quiet, the kind of quiet that only arrives when something genuinely unprecedented walks through the door and sits down uninvited. Dr. Renata Sterling, the firm's structural consultant who had flown in from Zurich and said approximately 11 words since her arrival, leaned forward. She had sharp eyes and the permanent expression of someone who had seen too many people perform intelligence without possessing it. She reached across the table and, without asking, picked up the notepad. She studied it for a long time. "Where did you train?" she said. "My father," Zara said, "and 4 years of independent research into tensegrity structures and historical load analysis. I've been working on a paper about stress memory in post-war American infrastructure." Dr. Sterling set the notepad down gently, the way you set down something valuable. "This is not a doodle," she said to no one in particular. "This is a solution." Marcus opened his mouth. "The diagonal lattice concept," Dr. Sterling continued, not interested in whatever Marcus was about to say, "resolves the incompatibility problem by reframing it entirely." Instead of asking how to replace the original system, she asked how to work with it. "The load math here," she tapped the page, "is not amateur. This would require full structural modeling to confirm, but the theoretical framework is sound, more than sound." Marcus was quiet now, too. Zara looked at him without anger, without the need for his face to rearrange itself into an apology. She had stopped needing that a long time ago. She had learned from her father that the answer does not care about your opinion of the person who found it. Math does not adjust itself to accommodate your assumptions. Steel does not care about your credentials. Load distributes according to physics, not prestige. I can have the full calculations and a 3D model ready in 48 hours, she said. That gives you 24 hours before the presentation to verify and refine. James Whitfield was already pulling out his laptop. Dr. Sterling was already nodding. The room had already shifted. That invisible tectonic movement that happens when power follows competence instead of title. Marcus Hargrove said nothing for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice had lost something it had come in with. Get her whatever she needs. Zara picked up her notepad, stood up, and said simply, I'll need access to the structural modeling software in a quiet room. She didn't need an apology. She never had. She needed a room and 72 hours. The Callaway River Bridge redesign was submitted under her name as lead conceptual engineer. The bid was won. The bridge still stands today as a case study in what happens when you stop asking who belongs in the room and start asking who has the answer. If this story made you feel something, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you've ever been underestimated in a room that wasn't ready for you, comment below because your story matters too. Don't forget to subscribe because we tell these stories every week.